Here's another off-the-cuff video. I didn't pre-plan any of it. I just turned the camera on and started recording, so it is as it is. Thanks for watching. Hello. I just recorded this video on breathing and I realized I left a few things out, so I'm going to talk about that now. First, you'll notice in the video it looks like I have a big fat belly. I promise you I'm not fat. I'm actually the same weight that I was in high school. I'm 43 now. And my body was pretty much shaped the same way through all those years, except for the last few when I've really been focusing on this type of breathing and this type of movement, and it changed the shape of this entire region. With my belly being relaxed and breathing this way, this area has become rounded. There's actually good definition here where this rounds out on the sides. It's kind of strange. And the musculature in the back here has changed a lot also. So my torso is kind of more cylindrical now instead of V-shaped like it used to be. But my body fat percentage hasn't gone up and my weight is still like it used to be. It's just a change in how I'm using things that has changed the shape of this. I realize it's not attractive in the traditional sense, but it's for a good cause. So I'm okay with it, my big round belly. Also, when we're breathing, we should breathe in and out of the nose. We're not using the mouth, unless you really have to. I mean, if you're congested or something, you're all stuffed up, you can't breathe here, by all means, breathe out of the mouth. You don't want to die because you haven't breathed. So, breathing in and out of the nose. Also, the breathing should not be forced, and there's a couple aspects to what I mean by forced. One is that, most people, well, a lot of people will breathe, especially when they're exercising, they breathe kind of in this area, like the force of their breathing comes from this area. They're sucking in air using this part of the body, they're sucking it into their nose or mouth and blowing it back out, and that's kind of forced. What I'll be talking about in the video is about the changes in this area, and it's actually the changes in this area that move the diaphragm, and that these changes pull the breath in, okay? And then relaxing this area then allows the breath to come back out. So you shouldn't feel like you shouldn't actually feel that you're breathing in and breathing out from this area here. It's these changes that pull the air in and then allow the air to come back out. So that's one idea of force. The other is if you can hear your breathing, it's forced. It's too loud and it's forced. And there are exceptions to that, so let me clarify. If you're just doing sitting practice, or you're doing standing practice, or you're going through moving exercises, or a Taiji form, then you really shouldn't be able to hear your own breathing. Other people should not hear your breathing. And exceptions to that are if you're doing some sort of power release, like the Chen style forms or some other types of movements that have power releases, then the breath is used as part of that power coordination, and the breath will be heard at that point, but that's something different. Also in applications of the movements, when you're doing partner work or you have an opponent and you're applying movements, again, sometimes you're going to hear the breath, and that has to do with coordination of the power. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about regular activities. You don't want to hear the breathing. And then the last idea of it being forced is the coordination. You don't want to force the coordination. Like at first, it takes a while to get the movements down physically. Like if you're learning a Qigong set or a Taiji form, you may get to a posture and then you're thinking about what comes next. You can't quite remember. You just got here and you exhaled, and you got to inhale next, but you can't remember what to do next. Is it this? Do I do this? And meanwhile, you're not breathing because you want to coordinate your breathing. That's no good. While you're learning the physical aspects of the movements, just breathe at a normal pace in and out as you need to. Don't hold your breath or make your breath take longer than what it needs to, just to coordinate it with the movements. Don't do that. After you get the movements down and it's no longer a memory issue, then you can go ahead and purposely coordinate the breathing with the movements, so that you're inhaling when you know you should inhale, exhale when you're knowing that an exhale should happen, And then after you get that down, then start paying attention to how the movements themselves will allow for that breathing anyway. So if there's a move that I should be inhaling on, then actually it's the changes in this area while I'm doing the move that will allow that inhale to happen. And then if there's a move that I should be exhaling on, that's the changes in this area during that movement that will allow that exhale to happen. And so that's that. You don't want to force the breath in any of those ways. Also, and lastly, and probably most importantly, is we breathe all day, so why not make that part of your practice? In other words, rather than just breathing shallowly or loudly or sucking in and blowing out air from this area or doing chest breathing, stick with the belly breathing that I'll be explaining in this video and just do it all day long. You know, while you're driving down the road, while you're on the phone, while you're at your computer, if you're watching TV, while you're eating. Just keep doing the belly breathing, breathing into the back, allowing these changes to have the air come in and out, and that will make your practice better. That'll make you have to think less about how to breathe while you're working on the Qigong and Taiji movements specifically, or if you do a seated meditation or whatever. So this is something that you can easily practice all day long. Alright, so here is the rest of the video. Sorry that I forgot this stuff, but it makes an interesting introduction. Alright, thank you. Hello again. Today I want to talk a little bit about breathing. This is kind of going to be presented on a basic level, sort of what I teach to people when they first start studying with me with Taiji or Qigong. So for some people this may seem basic, or it may seem like new information. For other people it may just seem like a confirmation of what you're already doing. And then for others, because I know I still have stuff to learn, it may seem like I'm not quite there yet. But that's okay, because we're all learning. Anyway, basically a lot of people know how to breathe. Everybody breathes, right? But a lot of what goes on is what I'm going to call chest breathing. So basically when that happens, people inhale and their intercostals change in a way that makes their rib cage expand, and when they exhale it relaxes. Okay, so the breathing is up here. In the type of Qigong that I do and in Taiji, we don't want to do that. We want the breathing to be down here. We do what's called a belly breathing. There's a lot of variations of belly breathing. The two main ones are abdominal breathing, and then you have reverse abdominal breathing. Within those two categories there are variations. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about mine. In general though, regular abdominal breathing, when you inhale, your belly expands down here, and when you exhale, it relaxes back in to where it was before you inhaled. And with reverse abdominal breathing, when you inhale, you actually pull in the lower abdomen, and when you exhale, you let it come back out. Like I said, within those two main types there are variations. However, if you're just doing belly breathing, not much is going on anywhere else. For instance, well actually, you don't want your chest to be moving while that's happening. So it's a good thing that nothing's happening up here as far as this kind of expansion. So I only want the belly to be expanding and relaxing, or pulling in slightly down here and relaxing, and this area should not be moving. However, you can do it in such a way that only this area is expanding and nothing is happening back here. In the Qigong that I do and in Taiji, I tell my students to breathe into their back. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know what that means, and if you were here you'd be able to feel this and it would make a lot more sense. In fact, if you're local, I'm in Wilmington, Delaware, if you're local and you don't know what this feels like, just stop in and see me and say, hey Brian, what's that breathing feel like, and you can check it out. But really, when I'm doing abdominal breathing, as opposed to reverse abdominal breathing, I want everything around here to expand. It's like a big tube blowing up. So it's not just breathing into the back. So when I'm talking about breathing into the back, I'm talking about this area, and you're not really going to be able to see it well at all. My hair's in the way, shirt's in the way. And it's more something that you could really feel, but as I'm breathing in, and this is expanding, also this area is expanding. And furthermore, the areas on my sides, here and here, this all the way around, this whole area expands. And I'm exaggerating now so that you can kind of see this, because you can't feel it. If you were here in person, I could breathe normal and you would feel the expansion all the way around, no matter where you felt, but you can't really feel that, so I'm just exaggerating what this looks like. So you could see the expansion and then the relaxation back down. If I were to do reverse abdominal breathing, I still want to breathe into the back, the sides still expand, this pulls in. So that theme of overall expansion is still happening. One interesting thing about this is alignment. Some of you may be familiar with the Dantian. That's about Tut Sun, below the navel and deep further into the body. And we have what's called Ming Meng, which is in your low back, right around where my thumb is. Below the spinous process of the second lumbar vertebrae. Anyway, normally these 2 points are not lined up. People kind of stand like this, and there's a bit of a tilt here, and this point here is lower than this point here. As you breathe into your back and relax, this will come up and this will come down, and it puts these points more in line with what's going on. I mean, it's part of the standing with the head erect and with this area sinking down. This area flattens, and those get much more in line. And when you breathe, and this inhales, when you inhale, there's like, you can think of a ball being here, and this whole ball, I'll put my hand here so you can see this, but when I inhale, and I let this relax as I breathe into this area. So not only does it expand, but it raises up in the air. And then when that makes this alignment straight through. And when I exhale, this stays flat, but this ball kind of drops a bit. So the ball comes up and down. If I were to just manipulate this area, you could see what happens. It's almost like there's a rolling happening like this. When I inhale, this ball rolls back up this way, like this. And when I exhale, it's going to roll back down. It also raises up in the air. You could see that. So this whole ball raises up in the air. This is the sinking and flattening of this gets reinforced with the inhale. Also with inhales, there's what's called a natural opening. If you're familiar at all with opening, close in Taiji, the inhale often gets associated with the opening. You don't have to open with an inhale. You can actually close with an inhale. But as far as being natural, inhaling is the beginning or a natural opening. What's interesting about this ball and this movement is that it's very, very similar to what happens with reverse abdominal breathing. With reverse abdominal breathing, the lower abdomen gets pulled in like this. It's as if the ball rolls this way. But it's not just rolling that way, it's actually raising up in the air. If I put a hand here, you could see how the whole thing shifts upwards. So it's not just this goes in that makes that go out, but it's as if the ball raises up in the air like this as this part comes in. So this part's coming in and the ball raises up. So it's kind of the same thing as when I inhale with regular abdominal breathing. I inhale, and the ball comes up here, and this part of my abdomen actually goes in. From just observing it from the outside, it looks very similar in that with regular abdominal breathing, when I inhale, this ball is coming up, and so this part appears to be going in. And when I do reverse abdominal breathing, this part is coming in, which kind of makes the ball go up. The main difference is with reverse abdominal breathing, as this goes in, the ball kind of rolls this way, but with the regular abdominal breathing, the ball rolls this way. So as you inhale. So that's the main difference, although what happens positionally with everything in here is very similar with both reverse abdominal and regular abdominal breathing. And then in both cases with the exhale, there's kind of a relaxing. So with the reverse abdominal breathing, as you inhale, and with the exhale, you just let this part go. So the ball drops, and that goes back to that home position. With the regular abdominal breathing, the exhale is the same. You just relax the area. So with the inhale, this ball kind of comes up, this part's coming in, and then with the exhale, this drops a bit. This doesn't go back out, it stays flat. That continues to get reinforced in the way that you exhale. Anyway, like I said, if you were here in person, you'd be able to feel this, and it would make a lot more sense of what's going on there. And also, keep in mind, I mentioned that the open, or the inhale is like a natural opening, the exhale is a natural closing. And these inhales and exhales get coordinated with the movements. At first, people will time their breathing with their moves, and later, the movements themselves, and what you're doing will actually kind of allow the breathing to happen in the way that it does. For instance, I mean, just real briefly, like if I'm in a rear weighted stance, I'm shifting into a front weighted stance. As all my weight's coming onto this leg and I'm getting ready to step out with this leg, this continues sinking as I'm inhaling, and this kind of rolls up. And as this rolls up and you have a connection running across here, this starts to pick the heel up off the ground and picks the leg up off the ground. And with the exhale, it plants everything back down. Also with shifting, it's the same kind of thing. You could be on this leg and get all your weight over here with your inhale. When you exhale, you let go and you slide into the other leg, and then you inhale again. As this rolls, it puts all your weight here, lightens up this leg so that you're 100% here and 0 here, and you can see it's picking my heel up, and as I'm turning, this area is changing shape, and I could sink it lower, and that puts the leg out. When all this gets connected, these movements kind of happen on their own, and it helps facilitate the breathing. The opening that you're doing coordinates with those inhales, and the closes that you're doing coordinate with the exhales. I guess that's about it. That's all I wanted to say about the breathing. Like I said, something like this is better in person because you can feel exactly what's going on when I inhale and exhale, especially in the back area. I mean, you could see this. It makes sense. Everybody, when they go to try abdominal breathing or reverse abdominal breathing, can pretty much get this, but not necessarily what's happening here. And then even more difficult for people to get, especially at first, is what's happening back here, all the way down into the sacrum area. From the lower part of the ribs all the way down to the sacrum, there's stuff going on with these inhales and exhales. So I hope I explained a little bit. Again, just basic information. A lot of you guys might know this, some of you might not, and some of you guys might be at a higher place up here, thinking that I still have a lot to learn. That's cool. I always appreciate feedback. Keep posting videos, okay? Because I'm going to, and hope you like this. Please subscribe to the channel. I have a lot more videos coming up. Thank you.